Alright guys, I'm back with my next review of SpongeBob, and it's been almost a week since I've reviewed my last SpongeBob episode, but I might start uploading twice a day now since I have more time on my hands for the most part. But besides that, I'm going to be reviewing my next SpongeBob episode, which is Walking Small. What happens in this episode is that Plankton wants to build a new Chum Bucket restaurant on the beach, but he can't because there are so many people and he's too small to get anybody to move. Now, I personally think that Plankton's size doesn't affect this, but anyways, because of this, he decides to try and get SpongeBob to get the beach cleared. He does this by trying to get SpongeBob to be more assertive and train SpongeBob to be an extremely rude person. First, he goes to the guy that took SpongeBob's ice cream, and Plankton shows SpongeBob how to be more aggressive. He then goes to the guy who asks SpongeBob to borrow his metal detector, and Plankton tries to get SpongeBob to say no, but ends up failing, and Plankton gives up on SpongeBob. SpongeBob realizes that how he failed Plankton, and Plankton gives him a second chance, and then SpongeBob starts to become the biggest jerk on the beach and starts to drive everybody to leave the beach. And an interesting note is that SpongeBob calls himself an alpha male in this part, which I thought to be funny. But anyways, SpongeBob finds out Plankton trained him to be rude to people in order to build his new restaurant, and then realizes what he did was wrong and decides to reverse every rude thing that he did, and SpongeBob then puts Plankton's plan to an end and everything goes back to normal. Interesting note, but this episode has a different ending theme from most other episodes, where instead of the classic calm tune, it's replaced by a remix of the intro. But anyways, in my opinion, this episode is pretty balanced overall. I think the episode as a whole ties each part together, and even though I did think that the humor for the most part was a bit lacking, the story made up for it in my opinion. While not the greatest plot in the entire show, I still thought that SpongeBob acting differently from how he normally does was pretty interesting, and seeing Plankton teach SpongeBob the ways of being a terrible person is a good idea, and in my opinion the episode executed it fairly well. There isn't much else to say about this episode, however, for me, which is why I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, putting it above Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost, but below The Paper, as aside from the pretty simple but decent plot, there wasn't much to this episode, and it doesn't really stick out or is as entertaining as some of the other episodes.